Morning, everybody. My name is Jukebox Joel. Welcome to No Pro Trading. And today it is the 24th of July, 8:22 in the morning. I'm just going to give you guys a daily market update. I gave a couple last week, didn't give any this week. I'll start giving two or three a week starting the next week. So we follow a handful of stocks on my Discord, and I'm just going to go through and show what we're watching for. So we watched the SPX continue its immediately upward momentum through the day yesterday. It caught a bunch of bears in here and then cremated them. Uh, for most immediate upside, we want to watch the following levels hold. For more direct upside, which in this case would mean not breaking post and pre-market lows. And if we can't hold between 633.50 and 634, then I'll be looking at 631.80 for support somewhere in this area. And it looks like that may be the support region in play if we break these lows. In the meantime, I'll draw a trend line here. And if we could potentially hold that, that would give better confluence to the upside. Next, after SPY, we look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin has started to range here. So far, we're getting a reaction to the measure of this move. However, we've tested it 4 times. We actually did make a new local low yesterday, or this morning rather. So we'll see if Bitcoin wants to start breaking down. We've been following this channel here for a few days. We'll see. We'll see if these support levels fail. Then I could be looking for long-term support to start catching hold in these areas. And there is some chance that around in this area would be where the bounce comes from if we drop that low. This looks like like wave four, so we'll leave it like this, how I had it a second ago. All right. Next, PayPal. PayPal has been an absolute monster. It was lagging at first. We not only day traded these, but we swung calls. I think from Monday to Wednesday. So I mean, as long as we keep printing higher lows, there is still more upside uh, available. That's interesting. I had this plotted a little. I plotted this just 10 minutes before starting the recording, and we actually popped down into the area. Oh, it's 2 times. So let's see if this support area holds. If it does, that opens the door to 79, 78. Uh, we'll keep an eye on PayPal again today. T-Mobile. T-Mobile did follow the thesis and absolutely ripped face. Um, we were following reactions to levels here. I have said, While we don't see a direct reaction from the 618 fib support, we dipped under support regions and are trying to bounce further above, and it did hold the levels that I had plotted, and it just ripped overnight during earnings. So at this point, I'm waiting for a dip into this area for it to find some potential support from which we could maybe take some positions off of. Google. Google did well in earnings as well. Google dipped and made a lower local low down to 184.78 ish, and then ripped face, popped $10. Oh, excuse me, $13. So from this point, what I'm watching for is a pullback to this region if we can get it. And so long as we keep printing higher highs, the support region will move with it. AT&T. AT&T also followed the thesis. Uh, I actually had mentioned on the 22nd that I thought AT&T needed a little dip before opening the door for higher, and AT&T did exactly that. We dipped, right into the next support level that I had plotted here, and then recovered the entire drop. We'll keep an eye on AT&T. This could be good potential. We've seen a lot of head and shoulders in the last in a lot of different charts. Um, if we can drop back down to this range and consolidate here again, I might be adding positions to go to the upside, at least to this trend line. But I'm sure we would break through at that point. We'll keep an eye on AT&T. Super micro. So super micro, we were watching for downside. I had plotted this trend line here. We're looking for downside. However, while it broke to the downside, we've held important lows. I'm sure if I were to measure this move, this would hit the 1.272 or the 100% extension level. Okay, didn't hit those two, but it hit the last one. So that could be the the end of this structure. So with that being said, now I'm following for upside at the moment. It looks like we've already broken out of this wedge, kind of ish. Now it's just kind of flattening out while the RSI is coming down in the 15 minutes. So we'll watch for upside at the market open. We still got an hour. We could get the move already before the market opens. Uh, what I'd like to do is I want to see if we can get a dip into this area and get a reaction off there. There is another support region under this area, which would be 51.23, almost equal low. But if we're going that low, then we should break to 50.98 before going. Hims. Oh, I wish I had played this one. Yes, yeah, the 22nd. I had mentioned that so far we see a break of the resistance line. We open it up. Down here, I mentioned so far we see a break of the trend line and a reaction to the point 0.5 fib that I had down here. Excuse me, point 0.5 resistance, point 0.5 fib resistance zone, which is probably this. Yeah. So if I draw this fib resistances, we can see a reaction right there. So I write, so far we see a break of the trend line and a reaction of the point 0.5 fib resistance zone. However, important local lows have not been taken out. We will watch HIMS today, is what I said. We will watch HIMS today, and I said a break of the replotted immediate resistance would indicate that we can look to take out local highs. So I had plotted levels on the hour chart. Yeah, I had drawn this, and had we been watching this stock, I would have seen the break. So the fact that we would have broken over here over the first two important levels might have given me enough confidence. However, I don't know if I would have even gotten into it because you see a wick right from the last supposed resistance level. And here with no pros, we try to give us the best probability plays. And while this would have been a real good play, a real good ripper to have swung calls, people made a lot of money on yesterday. It just might have not fallen in my guidelines. It, no, it might have not. That wick would have told me not to get in. Anyways, we'll be watching HIMS. I've plotted resistant support zones from which I expect to get a reaction. This is the most immediate one that so far we're trying to hold. If those break, these are the next levels in play. Also, the top of the trend line that we broke out of. Next is silver. Silver trying to hold this plotted support zone. If it can, we can absolutely see new local highs. I'll even draw a trend line, which I personally expect to be broken, hopefully soon. Um, Oil, I don't think I'm going to follow oil anymore. We'll take a peek though. I think oil is holding lows. As long as it can break above these levels with some force, we can see oil start. We can see oil potentially recover, but only if we can get above these levels. Next is Intel. Intel. Okay, we got a reaction to the zone so far. No break of local lows, but that looks like another head and shoulders here. I'm not a pattern trader, but we have seen a lot of head and shoulders lately. All right, so at this point, we'll just watch to see what structure forms from here. Um, I'll do a little immediate support zone right here in case it wants to dip back, from which it should hold. We'll keep an eye on Intel today. I just got a good idea. Okay, so I'll start marking the ones for the day. LAC. Wait, which other one do we want to watch? SMCI. Okay. LAC. LAC still flagging in an upward momentum. Still holding support regions. Still printing higher lows. So long as these lows are holding, we can. Every dip could be a an entry potentially. I mean, could we be getting another head and shoulders here too? I mean, it's not impossible. It's a little oblong, but we'll keep an eye on that one as well. Might be cheap contracts for a long time. Tesla. Tesla did the opposite of. I thought we were gonna blow out to the top, but we actually fell out to the bottom. However, the area that we've fallen into is a medium-term support area. And honestly, if we can hold this area, the reaction could be immense. Um, so we'll be watching Tesla to see if we can get hold the reaction here. Another really great one has been Weeble, but we'll get to that one in a second. Misty, we stop lost our position up here, entered here, stop lost our position here ish, and then I re-entered yesterday at 2120 on the long-term account. So we're at break even right now, but I'm watching for a dip and reaction into this area. And last but not least, the bull. The bull. The bull has been absolutely ripping face since last week before. Um, Stock was at $10 2 weeks ago. Anyways, zooming in. At the moment, I'm keeping an eye on these immediate support areas for a reaction. If these fail, there are some slightly more relative levels right here, so I'll actually leave these. You'll notice that when I move the level, even though look at this 1757, that's basically the same level, right? So um, we'll keep an eye on Weeble. If these immediate levels fail, then I expect that this is macro ABC, and we can see targets of, at the very most, 1585. And 1585 would probably also fall into like a 0.5 retracement of the 618 of this structure. So that's possible. Um, if we start to lose these support levels, then I'll replot the target levels. All right, and that does it for the daily market update. Here at NoPro, I really sincerely care more about you guys and how to manage your risk. Um, I see a lot of people make a lot of mistakes over and over and over and over again. And I really wish you guys follow your rules, make a plan before you enter a trade. And if the plan doesn't execute on the chart, don't enter. There will be dozens of other opportunities on that day or any other given day. All right. You guys have a good trading day, and hope to see you in the Discord in the near future. Please like, please subscribe, and please ask questions. Thank you. Have a good one, guys.